They may have lived happily ever after, but that doesn't mean their story is over. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to MsMojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 best straight-to-DVD Disney sequels.
It appears you were right, Cinderella. The prince does want to marry you, and marry you he shall.
That means we're looking at Disney follow-ups that didn't quite make the cut for a wide theatrical release, but still made the original movie proud by honoring its characters, witty dialogue, and original premise. And to be clear, we mean any movie released after the original, so that could be prequels, sequels, midquels, or even spinoffs. All right, let's get to the list. Number 10, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, The Adventure Begins. Serving as a pilot for the TV show of the same name, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is actually a movie within a movie, as the Toy Story gang prepares to watch their favorite space ranger take on the evil Emperor Zurg.
Prepare to die, Buzz Lightyear! Not today, Zurg!
Although the opening utilizes Pixar's familiar computer animation, the rest of the film uses traditional animation.
I don't know exactly, but I believe that even now Zurg is hatching his most diabolical scheme yet.
This is my most diabolical scheme yet!
While it feels more like a Saturday morning cartoon than a Pixar film, there is a compelling plot here full of colorful characters, inspired twists, and Star Wars references.
I've been studying Zurg's planetary defense matrix, and I think a small one-man ship
Could slip past the defenses unnoticed.
It might not go to infinity and beyond, but the film did act as a fun introduction to the short-lived TV series.
To infinity and beyond!
Number 9, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
Where do you think you're going in such a hurry?
Now a father and king of Pride Rock, Simba has to deal with his daughter, Kiara, who turns out to be just as mischievous as he was at her age.
Kiara, are you listening? Accidents can happen. You could easily get hurt or
stepped on, or even get lost.
And remember, I want you to stay in sight of Pride Rock at all times.
Kiara and an outlawed lion cub named Kovu become friends, and later fall in love as they grow up. Simba forbids them from being together, however, because Kovu was Scar's protege. Drama!
I'm telling you this because I love you. I don't want to lose you.
Kovu is repeatedly assigned by his vengeful mother to kill Simba, but finds that he can't do it out of loyalty to Kiara.
And in doing so, you betrayed your pride. Betrayed Scar!
As you might have guessed, where the original Lion King was largely based on Hamlet, this one takes a page from Romeo and Juliet. Kiara and Kovu's unlikely friendship is still inspiring though, in a sequel that would make Mufasa proud.
Oh, Mufasa, you've been up there too long. Your head is in the clouds.
Number 8, Bambi 2.
Feel the forest. Feel the forest. Feel the forest.
Bambi!
Feel the... Felt it.
Depending on where you live, some of you got to see this movie in theaters, while Americans had to watch it at home. Spoiler alert, hunters kill Bambi's mom in the first film. Due to this traumatic death, Bambi's mother is the parent we usually associate with the young deer. This midquel, however, chronicles Bambi's childhood by his dad's side.
That's enough questions for today. Now please get some sleep.
His father, the great prince of the forest, is rarely involved in his son's parenting, but reluctantly takes him under his wing after he's left motherless.
After all, who better to raise the young prince than the great prince himself?
This film certainly reinforces the fact that some Disney films are just plain dark and depressing, with Bambi being rejected again and again by his father. But luckily, in the end, the estranged duo comes together, and the great prince decides to raise Bambi after all.
I never even knew this was here.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Number 7, Brother Bear 2.
That's right. Kenai and Coda. We don't need anybody else.
As if the story of a man who chooses to live his life as a bear to stay with a cub he befriends wasn't heartbreaking enough the first time around.
You ready to keep going?
But I'll never be able to cross that river.
We can do that together too.
In the sequel, Kenai's childhood friend Nita makes an appearance, and he now has to make a choice between the woman he loves and the bear cub he now thinks of as his foster brother.
Coda, what would I have done if anything happened to you?
You're gonna leave me.
The sequel, like the original, is chock full of life lessons like the importance of family and identity. as well as love conquering all. Plus, it's always great to hear Rick Moranis' voice.
Hey, I think that's our cue, eh?
Yeah, beauty.
Let's go. Fear not, mooseheads!
Number 6. An extremely goofy movie.
Hi, everybody!
Set a few years after the first film, Max is now heading off to college, ecstatic to finally be free of his embarrassing, overbearing father, Goofy.
You realize going off to college means no more well-meaning but totally smothering, overprotective, doting, yucking dads.
But Max is in for a surprise when Goofy shows up on campus, dead set on attaining his own college degree after being fired from his job making toys.
Goofy, I warned you. You're fired!
The rest of the film builds on the hilarious father-son dynamic that we saw in A Goofy Movie, as Goofy learns to let go of his little boy, while Max finally allows his dad to be a bigger part of his life.
Dad, relax. I'm not in trouble. It's just the team needs you. I need you.
Number 5. Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
My father is alive?
There are way too many Disney characters with absentee fathers. So when Aladdin finds out that his father is actually alive, of course he stops at nothing to find him.
Together we're the perfect team. Larceny is in the genes.
Turns out that dear old dad is the king of the 40 thieves, and left his family in search of the hand of Midas.
If you're Al's dad, and the king of thieves, I just want to know one thing.
Yeah?
Will you be having the chicken or the sea bass?
He pretends to want a relationship with Aladdin in order to intercept a powerful artifact back at the palace. He eventually realizes that family means more than wealth or power. But because of the trouble he causes before making that revelation, maybe the moral of this story is that Disney dads are better off missing.
This wretched thing almost cost me the ultimate treasure. It's you, son.
Number 4. 101 Dalmatians 2. Patch's London Adventure.
Do you think I'm one of a kind, or just one of 101?
101. That's it.
When the owners of the Dalmatians move away to a farm, they accidentally leave behind one of the puppies, Patch, in true Home Alone style. But rather than remain at his old home and wait, Patch heads out to audition for his favorite TV show about a canine superhero, Thunderbolt.
Come on, kid, we haven't got all year. You're wasting my valuable limelight.
Meanwhile, Cruella de Vil is released on probation, but goes back to her old ways and almost immediately steals back the Dalmatians.
Your muse has returned!
Of course, since this is a Disney movie, Patch and his new friend, the dog who plays Thunderbolt, ultimately rescue his family from Cruella's clutches.
That's not away!
The sequel shows that some people just can't change. And in a hilarious twist of fate, the villain is deemed insane and sent to a mental institution.
Spots? I do see spots, you know.
Number 3. Cinderella 3. A Twist in Time.
Mother! Mother!
Anastasia, where have you been?
Slacking off again.
What's fun about this sequel is that it isn't actually about our favorite servant-turned-princess at all. Rather, the third installment follows Anastasia, one of Cinderella's stepsisters, who comes into possession of the fairy godmother's wand and uses it to turn back time so that the glass slipper fits her instead.
I call upon all the forces of the universe! Bippity-boppity-boo!
With her mother's help, Anastasia finally lives the life she believes was rightfully hers, but in the end decides to do what's right.
Bippity-boppity-boo.
I can't take much more of this.
Though far from living up to the standards of the original fairy tale, it does redeem a once evil character and shows viewers that even the coldest hearts can be thawed. But not all, since Lady Tremaine and Drizella refuse to change, with the final scene showing them turned into maids. Number 2. Tinkerbell.
Welcome to Pixie Hollow. I trust you found your way all right.
I
think so.
Although this one briefly played at the El Capitan Theater, it was a straight-to-DVD release for everyone else. As the first film in the Disney Fairies franchise, this spin-off of Peter Pan stars his spunky, green-clad sidekick and her fairy friends in adventures of their own.
Baby chipmunks can't eat the whole nut, right? Their little teeth can't chew big bites.
Unlike Peter Pan, which was made using traditional animation, these movies are computer animated, with a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 89% positive. Tinkerbell, along with subsequent films in the series, is leagues above most other straight-to-DVD Disney sequels.
I wouldn't go around bragging about your talent. It's not like spring depends on you.
Of course it does. And when I go to the mainland, I'll prove just how important we are.
On top of that, this is the first movie where Tinkerbell actually gets to speak. And she's voiced by none other than the quirky and lovable Mae Whitman.
There's gotta be more to my life than just pots and kettles.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Lion King 1.5.
I gotta tell you, Timon, that song always gets me right here. Yeah, Pumba. Well, enough of that.
Considered a prequel, parallel, and midquel, this strange but enjoyable addition to the Lion King universe follows the hysterical meerkat and warthog duo Timon and Pumbaa's adventures.
I had the sun on my shoulders, the wind at my heels, a song in my heart.
Told in the form of a frame story, a companion to the original, The Lion King 1.5 is narrated by the two as they sit watching the events of the original film unfold while telling their never-before-seen stories.
Pumbaa, this could be the start of a beautiful acquaintanceship.
Even though this framing device seems a little too meta for an animated movie geared towards children, that's balanced by enough general humor and catchy songs for the film to be enjoyed by all audiences.
Think I'll turn in for the night.
If I had a dime for every time my sister played He Lives in You to try to get me to watch the Lion King sequel, I'd have a lot of dimes, and I still haven't watched it. Let me know, should I? Let me know in the comments, or come talk to me on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, and please watch this other video.